streets, designing the streets that not only cater towards automobiles, but create space for pedestrians, for multimodal access like buses, bicycles. So I looked at that, and I looked at it in a typology kind of way. So looking at 4 different main typologies: residential streets, main streets, boulevards, and the highway, I-71. So my study area focused around the central business district and the commercial core along McMillan and Taft and Gilbert. This is kind of a blow-up of that area showing different typologies. So you have all the residential streets are in the red. The main streets, McMillan and Taft. Boulevards, the Victory and Gilbert. And the highway, of course, is I-71. So essentially I looked at, as you can see from my drawings, the existing conditions are located on the left and the proposed conditions. Basically, for most of these, especially for the main streets and boulevards, I looked at creating a buffer zone between pedestrians and automobile space. And it kind of varied in the streets, but especially along McMillan, there's a lot of places near the central business district where the sidewalks are already long enough. So it's more or less just dividing that zone, the pedestrian zone, to create this buffer zone. I looked at making some raised planters in those areas that can create zones for plantings for amenities such as seating or bus stops. Basically, there's been talk about McMillan being converted back to a two-way street too, so I'll deal with that also right now. I looked at the proposals and the studies that were done on that and saw that to convert it back to two-way, they're looking at creating along McMillan 2 lanes going east and a lane going west. And there would probably also need to be turning lanes. So that still is 4 lanes of traffic at most points along McMillan. So this would be what it would look like with the two-way proposed. So you still have these 4 lanes of traffic. And I think my conclusions were that it might bring more cars along, but not necessarily be pedestrian friendly, because you still have all these lanes of traffic you have to walk across. So you can see in the plan here, this would be the existing, you have the 4 lanes. But if you kept it as a one-way, you could reduce down to 2 lanes with 1 lane of parking and bike lanes, what I proposed. You can see in these sections. These 2 lanes, travel lanes, a parking lane, and a bike lane. So that way you'd be able to expand the pedestrian zones and the planning buffer zones. And the plannings kind of are used to decrease the driver's perceived space along the road, so that can slow them down, and also by creating these different bulb outs or basically narrowing the roads and creating these large areas around intersections for pedestrians so they become more visible to drivers in the area. And then along the boulevards such as Gilbert and Victory, I looked at creating a median basically separating the north and southbound traffic, and that median can be used to plant trees along that. It's already in place a lot of places along Gilbert, but I looked at maybe creating a sunken median there, so that could be used as a bioswale for stormwater management, and also creating this planning buffer zone like along the main streets. And then I guess we'll move on to the highway. I looked at a lot of the same highway proposals with creating this service road, so that when you get off the highway coming north, you would get off south of Taft, and then you'd be able to access Taft and Martin Luther King in the same way going south. So basically, you can see the existing highway with 4 lanes of travel, a large shoulder, and the plantings going up. It's about 30 feet, I would say, below grade most of the community of Walnut Hills. This would be the proposed section, the service roads, and then also creating a bike and pedestrian path running north-south with different buffers, tree buffers, and also medians similar to the ones on Gilbert, bioswale medians that could help with stormwater management, and then also light rail lanes proposed for the future that could be implemented along I-71.